Act 1 of Armand, or The Peer and the Peasant, by Anna Cora Mowatt. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Persons of the Drama.
Louis XV, King of France. Read by Todd.
Duke de Richelieu, read by Mike Manolakes.
Duke d'Antin, read by Alan Mapstone.
Armand, read by CavaetLe.
Lesage, read by Greg Giordano.
Victor, read by Matea.
Jacot, read by David Purdy.
Etienne, read by Elise D.
Blanche, read by Jenn Broda.
Dame Babette, read by Kelly Taylor.
Jaqueline, daughter of Dame Babette, read by T.J. Burns.
Stage directions read by Wayne Cooke. Act 1, Scene 1. A beautiful part of the Garden of Versailles. Fountain of Neptune with statues. Lesage walking about as though musing. Lesage.
Solve me this problem, Lesage, if thou canst. Why should the Duke d'Antin occupy his thoughts with a young peasant? Why so earnestly desire that his Majesty should behold her? Unquestionably there is a mystery, indubitably a mystery. But thou shalt solve it, Lesage. Thou hast a head, incontestably a head, unqualifiedly a wise head.
Enter Duke d'Antin.
Undoubtedly a head that sees
Better than your eyes, I trust, Lesage.
Pardon, your grace. Indisputably I did not observe you.
I am all impatience to learn what took place last evening.
Your grace shall hear. Preparatively I need not inform your grace that, obeying your orders, I made myself acquainted with Dame Babette down at the village St. Denis yonder. Instantaneously I discovered that your grace had been rightly informed, and that the Duke de Richelieu frequently visits the dame's cottage in the garb of a citizen. Unsuspiciously the dame calls him Monsieur Antoine.
All this I know. Proceed.
Voluntarily.
You talked to the dame and her young charge of these charming gardens, as I ordered?
I painted the beauties of Versailles with the hand of an artist and the tongue of a poet. Mademoiselle Blanche was enchanted. Courteously I promised to obtain her and the dame an admission. Accordingly, yesterday evening at dusk, when the garden was wholly deserted, I conducted them to this very spot. Secretly I then dispatched Victor to the king. Insinventatingly he suggested to his Majesty that a miraculously lovely young peasant girl had, with a very talkative old woman, inexplicably obtained admission to his private gardens, and was wandering about in ecstatically rustic delight.
Go on, go on.
Immediately.
Did he come? Did he see her?
Certainly. His Majesty was unsuspectedly dying of ennui. Involuntarily he revived at the thought of an adventure, prudentially wrapped himself in a cloak, and unreflectingly hastened to the garden.
And then? Then he joined the peasants?
Indubitably.
They did not suspect that he was the king?
Incontestably not.
He was fascinated with Blanche?
Indescribably.
He became joyous, elated, excited?
Extraordinarily.
Blanche was gay, artless, piquant?
Superlatively.
Hush! Victor comes this way.
Crossing right.
Question him closely. This evening you shall have further directions. Be cautious.
Exit right.
Invariably.
Enter Victor, left.
Ah, Monsieur le Sage, we are charmed to encounter you.
Delightedly. I salute His Majesty in miniature.
If you reflect on our size, Monsieur le Sage, we would inform you.
That is immeasurably beneath my notice. A particularly correct and pungently philosophical conclusion. But, Monsieur Victor, a word concerning the young peasant, who, yester evening...
Ah, you touch us nearly when you talk of her. Our love for the elusive sex, for such we deem them, is our Achilles' heel, our vulnerable point. His Majesty, like ourselves, has been cold for a season, but once more the intoxicating effect of the tender passion has overpowered us.
Enter King and Richelieu, left.
In a word, His Majesty's pleased with this young piece of incarnate loveliness, we may say charmed.
Boy, thou art overbold to speak of this to other than ourselves. Away, and be the answer to our wish when next you seek our presence. Go. You comprehend us, sir?
Victor and Lesage make a low obeisance. Exeunt Victor and Lesage, left.
Here, Richelieu, is the consecrated spot where I beheld her first. Here would I raise an altar, sacred, not to love, no rude within our kingdom but were meet for that. Be this to first impressions dedicated.
My liege, I'm all impatience to behold the wondrous beauty.
The wondrous beauty, nay, I said not beauty. It was not what men call beauty that has thus enthralled my soul. It was the spirit's loftier loveliness, unseen, ethereal, and ineffable, which breathed from her pure lips, gave to her step its springing bound, her every movement lent its airy grace, pervaded her whole being, impregnated the air that kissed her robe, and with an atmosphere of purity encircled her. It was her voice whose music no sorrow yet had touched, her childlike prattle, by very artlessness made arch, her form, untortured to its light fragility by court accessories of beauty's toilette, her affluent tresses, flowing unprofaned by touch of mocking powder, which had lain upon their golden light like fleecy clouds upon the sun.
Now, heaven be thanked, my liege. No rhapsody so warm as passed your lips a 12-month. Dullness ends her weary reign. 'Tis plain this young enchantress will dethrone her.
In sooth, she shall. Richelieu, my friend, be prompt. With speed let this new constellation shine upon our court. Some noble dame select, beneath her high protection place this maid. Nor rank nor title shall she lack to gild her lowly origin.
Enter Victor, left.
And for the rest...
Your pardon, sire. The old woman...
What? Is she come? Conduct her hither.
Exit Victor, left.
Now, Richelieu, use but your wonted skill, and we are once more your debtor.
Sire, you have but to speak, to wish, and though she were some chaste inhabitant of the moon.
Enter Victor, ushering Dame Babette, left. Exit Victor, left.
The vestal dweller of some star, she should exchange its light for...
Sees the dame and starts back, greatly moved.
Heavens! Babette!
Why do you stare so? You don't mistake this curious relic of antiquity for the fair one who holds me in thraldom?
Not exactly. That is, precisely. I thought so. That is, I never thought so.
Half aside.
If it were but my own fancy that had conjured up this spectre.
Spectre? You are dreaming. The old lady appears to us in a remarkably substantial condition.
Babette, glancing nervously at the king and away again while she talks.
I am all over in a flutter. I suppose it is my place to speak first, though I never talk. I see they feel just as frightened as I do. Dear me, how they stare, to be sure. If Blanche was only here, she'd wonder at the observation that some people sometimes attract.
After an effort.
Gentlemen, I hope I do not confuse you. I'm really quite alarmed myself before such well-dressed cavaliers. I was sent for here, but I say nothing. I never talk, as everybody knows. I was sent for, that's all. I don't know why, so shall not say.
King retires up. She crosses to Richelieu.
If you could inform me, sir, for I'm but a poor woman, I live down at the village, yonder.
As she is speaking the last words, she looks very intently at Richelieu and gradually recognizes him.
Blessed Mother! It is Monsieur Antoine.
Richelieu, aside to her.
Silence, fool.
Silence, forsooth, as if I ever talk. Ah, Monsieur Antoine, to think of finding you here and dressed so grand.
Hush.
King, who has come forward, attracted by Babette's exclamation.
Why, Richelieu, the old dragon seems to have recognized a friend.
Richelieu? Hey, what? Richelieu?
Richelieu silences her by an action.
Oh, I say nothing.
Richelieu crosses center.
Quite a ridiculous affair.
Trying to laugh.
The old gentlewoman, she actually fancies she has traced a likeness between me and some relation who died in the last century, sire.
Sire? Sire? His Majesty? Oh, blessed Mary! Holy St. Dinners! And last night I talked in such a way. That is, I said nothing. I never talk. What will become of me?
Falling on her knees.
Pardon, your Majesty, pardon. I did not know you. I never suspected you, and it was you last evening that... Oh, pardon, pardon.
Nonsense, my good woman. Your breach of decorum will not put your head in jeopardy.
Oh, I hope not, your Majesty.
Rising.
Holy Saint Anthony! My neck has grown quite stiff at the thought.
We leave you with the Duke, who will communicate our commands.
Exit right.
Duke? Oh, Monsieur Antoine, you are a duke! And such a familiar way as I've treated you this many a year! If you will only condescend to pardon me.
Falling upon her knees again.
A truce to this folly. Rise and listen to me, dame, for on your implicit obedience hangs your future welfare, perhaps your life.
Life? Life? Oh, surely you won't kill me? Monsieur Antoine, I mean your grace, consider my years. Mercy, mercy. Oh, my poor neck will be stiff for a year.
Be silent and listen. You were walking last evening in these gardens with Blanche. By what unlucky chance you came here, by what strange means obtained admission, I have not time to learn. The king saw Blanche, is enamored of her, desires that she shall be presented at court.
Blessed Mary, what an honor! And His Majesty saw me too. Of course, His most gracious Majesty expects me to be presented also. Oh, I'm such a flutter. How shall I live through it?
Are you determined to distract me? Blanche...
I understand. She is to be presented at court?
She shall die first.
Hey, what, die?
Yes, die.
Well, your Highness, I say nothing, but little Blanche, do see her in her grave, after all the fine learning you have given her, and to have her miss being presented at court, too. Why, she always walked and talked. Yes, when she was but 2 years old, she walked like a queen. And since the king, his gracious Majesty, has so graciously looked upon her...
Aye, he has looked on her, and that one look has like a flash of scathing lightning blasted her whole existence.
Crosses to right.
Well, now, I can't understand where's the harm.
Listen, Babette. The king has commissioned me to conduct Blanche to the palace. Tomorrow evening is the latest moment to which I can postpone his orders. She must be saved from the profanation even of his suit, and the energy of my will alone can save her. You, and you only, can aid me. You shall aid me. Tomorrow morning at your cottage I will communicate my project, and I warn you that I shall exact the most implicit obedience.
And Blanche won't be presented at court? Nor I, neither? My Lord Duke, I to refuse such an honour that would make half the village die with envy?
Enter Right, King and Duke d'Antin. Richelieu, seizing her by the arm.
Fool! I tell you that Blanche never...
Sees the king, suddenly releases Babette, and changes his tone and manner.
Never should refuse such a distinguishing mark of His Majesty's favour.
There now, that's just what I said, Your Highness, and you're not listening to me. Just what I was telling him. Your Majesty, such an honour for us both. I am ready to expire at the very thought. When Dame Barbara knows it, but I say nothing. Nobody shall hear it from me.
Why, Duke, this is a novel mode of proceeding. It seems that you were executing our orders by force of arms.
Your Majesty is facetious. This droll old woman, I can't help laughing at her tenacity. Having conscientious scruples, she refused.
I refused? Refuse such an honour? Oh, Your Majesty.
Richelieu, aside to her.
Another word, and it shall cost you dear.
Dear, how fierce Monsieur Antoine has grown since he has become a duke.
There is some enigma here.
De Danton, aside to him.
Which your Majesty may find diversion in solving.
Dame Babette, you will remember the directions you have received, and tomorrow...
Then your mind is changed? You consent? And tomorrow we shall have the honour, such an honour. Oh, your grace, when you forbade me just now, I felt...
Forbade you? Why, Richelieu, is the old woman mad?
I believe so, sire. I really believe so. There, you are at liberty to go. That way, that way.
Trying to lead her towards the entrance, she takes a step or two and persists in turning back.
Oh, I have not saluted your gracious Majesty.
Breaks away from Richelieu and curtsies low to the king.
I wouldn't have your Majesty think me wanting in manners. When I am to be presented at court to such an honour. You see, Monsieur Antoine, that is His Highness, I can't help calling him Monsieur Antoine,
On account of the likeness. His Majesty knows. You tire His Majesty. Go, go.
Trying to force her away.
The likeness? What likeness? I beg pardon for fatiguing your Majesty. I was only going to say...
Richelieu still forcing her.
His Majesty does not desire to hear. Go, go.
I am gone, as soon as I have made my salute.
Breaking from him, she curtsies again to the king, crosses, and going, returns.
The other grand-looking old gentleman, I have not made my reverence to him yet. Oh, I'll shew them my breeding, now that I am to be presented at court.
Approaches Duke d'Antin and curtsies low.
Dame?
Nay, Richelieu, we are amused at her vulgarities.
Oh, sire, I see you are much annoyed.
To Babette.
Are you coming?
But His Majesty says he is amused, and...
Forcing her.
But Richelieu...
His Majesty says he is amused.
King and Danton, right. Richelieu forcing out Babette, left, who endeavours to return. End of Act 1. Act 2 of Armand, or The Peer and the Peasant, by Anna Cora Mowatt. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2, Scene 1. Room in the cottage of Dame Babette. Right front open door, Left front, large open window shewing a country scene. Chamber door right and left. Dame Babette with a letter in her hand. Jaqueline seated on a low stool at window, making garlands of small green branches. Chairs and tables, jug and tin cup on table.
Well, well, the Duke must be obeyed, and I must say nothing of his being a Duke, but no fear of that, I never talk. He will be here presently, and I must send for Blanche. Poor little Blanche, she will lose her May-Day sport, but then the honour of receiving a Duke. Here, Jaqueline, child, throw down those garlands and run to the green and tell Blanche she must hasten home directly.
Not I, indeed, mother. Bid Blanche hasten home on May Day? I shan't think of such a thing. Besides, Blanche begged me to weave more garlands for the Maypole.
Never mind the garlands, chatterbox. Go tell Blanche she cannot dance upon the green today. I need her home.
Jaqueline, still working at the garland.
Just as if the villagers would let her go, mother. They can do nothing without Blanche. They would come and carry her away by force.
Stop talking, nimble tongue. What a fondness these young ones have for chattering. Ah, they'll be as silent as I am when they grow old. There.
Snatching away the garland.
Leave the green things and go.
Blanche won't come. I wouldn't if I were she. Oh, I'll go. But Blanche shall have her garlands if I make them on the road.
Gathers up the garlands.
Who do you suppose would disappoint our Blanche?
Runs outdoor off left.
How fast the child talks! Where she got her fondness for chattering, I can't tell. Her poor father was as silent as a post, and I'm sure it's not from me.
Enter Jaqueline, running, right down front.
Didn't I tell you, mother? They would never let Blanche come. She insisted, and the villagers insisted on coming along with her, and they intend to carry her away again.
Rustic music without.
Hark! There's the music. They will be here in a moment.
The villagers coming here. Oh dear, I shall be ruined if the Duke finds them here. Run, tell Blanche that I want her alone, and they must not enter. Tell her my poor neck, no, tell her they must not come in.
I'll tell her, but she won't mind. I wouldn't if I were she.
Exit center off left. Babette. Music, piano through speech. Stop at end of it.
There they come, sure enough. Oh dear, what shall I do to get rid of them? If the Duke finds them and gets angry, I shall die of fright. Oh, my poor neck! I shall never again be sure that I have it on my shoulders. Blanche, is Blanche coming?
Enter Blanche, right front.
Yes, dame, here is Blanche.
Good child, good child.
Nay, dame, pay homage to our majesty. I'm chosen queen, dear dame, the Queen of May. You do not smile. Prithee, what serious thought has cast its grave reflection on thy face?
I was thinking how beautiful a crown, a real crown, a crown of gold and jewels would look upon your head.
A crown? Why, you are dreaming, dame, at midday.
And if I am, there's something sometimes in some dreams, but I say nothing. Only, wouldn't you like to dream of wearing such a crown?
No, in good sooth, not I. This woven band of dewy wild flowers lightlier girds my head, and circles in its ring but happy thoughts. Then for my king, whom think you I have chosen?
Wait till you see the king himself.
Has he a nobler mien, a loftier look, a braver, truer, purer heart than Armand?
Have you forgotten the cavalier who walked with us in the gardens of Versailles?
No, I remember him. 'Twas but last night.
Then listen. What would you say if he were the king, the true king, Louis XV, the king of France? Oh, dear, what would you say to that?
Why, if he were the king, in truth the king, I could but say that wayward nature played on fortune's favourite a most idle trick, while to the humble artisan she gave the aspect, soul, and bearing of a king.
Oh, dear, what a young traitor! It's very fine talk, yet for all that there's a great difference between your Armand and the king, I mean the cavalier.
I grant you that, dear dame, difference indeed. How different seemed in each like attributes. The lightness of the cavalier to me seemed senseless levity, while Armand's mirth is the overflowing gladness of a heart at ease. Each had his separate pride, one pride, the scorn that narrow minds from narrower minds inherit. But our Armand's pride looks down in scorn upon mean acts alone, disdains but falsehood, spurns but vice, rebels against injustice only, while he arrogates no merit to his virtue. Men may bow the knee to royalty, but there's a more enduring and more sacred homage all must feel for what is better than themselves.
How these young ones talk, to be sure! You'll sing a new burden to your song before long. You must think no more of Armand.
What? Think no more of Armand? Is he not the very centre of my thoughts, round which all feelings and all hopes alike revolve, as planets circle round their sun? But damn, thou dear, mysterious, and oracular dam, what bonding dreams have mocked you through the night? Or what portentous omens have you seen? Nay, speak, prithee, what has befallen thee?
Oh, don't ask me. I say nothing. You know I never talk.
Villagers without.
Where is our queen?
Our queen.
Our queen. Bring us our queen.
Armand and villagers appear at window. Armand without.
Patience, my friends, your patience while I seek her, and for an instant tarry where you are.
Enter Armand, lightly and quickly, right down front.
Blanche, Blanche, Queen Blanche, where are you dallying? Your subjects grow rebellious to behold you. Ah, who can wonder that they cannot live from thy sweet sight? And I, the least of all, good morrow, dame. They sent me here to claim our faithless sovereign. Come, thou truant queen.
No such thing, Monsieur Armand. Mademoiselle Blanche remains where she is.
Heyday, what next? Monsieur Armand, forsooth, and Mademoiselle Blanche. How courteous we have grown. You are almost too polite, Madame Babette.
Mademoiselle Blanche cannot dance upon the green today.
Not dance, dear dame, when I am chosen queen, and I in turn have chosen Armand king. Good dame, dear dame, indeed, but I must dance.
Are you possessed, my good Madame Babette? The villagers would tear your cottage down. Nonsense. Come, little queen, they wait for us. The dame is but our subject after all. Obedience is her duty, and not ours. Good day, good dame. Good day, Madame Babette.
Puts his arm around the waist of Blanche, and is running with her to the door. Babette intercepts them and leads Blanche away. Babette, with great dignity.
Stay where you are, Blanche. I order you. You are to receive a visitor. The Duke will be here presently.
The Duke?
Who said anything about a Duke? I'm sure I didn't. My foolish tongue. But it's just like me. That is, it's not at all like me. I never talk. I mean, Monsieur Antoine will be here, and desires to see Blanche upon particular business. Monsieur Armand, I must request you to retire.
No, I remain to bid Monsieur Antoine make haste and tell him we await our queen.
Babette angrily.
Monsieur Armand, I tell you.
Blanche crosses center.
Go, dear Armand, the dam desires it. Go. Come for me in an hour. May he, good dam? Say yes. Now do say yes. You smile the yes. You will not speak, and a consent is twice consent that with a smile is given. And now, Armand, for one short hour, we say farewell.
Sweet sovereign, I can scarcely disregard your first command, although this banishment is tyranny. Farewell, I shall return. Before our garlands wither, though to me their freshness and their beauty vanish with the hands that wove them. Fare thee well, my Blanche. Madame Babette and dignity, good day.
Exit right down front.
Such wonders as I have to tell you, such wonders! But I shan't say anything about it. Only suppose it was the king we saw at Versailles. I say suppose, and suppose that Monsieur Antoine was a great lord. Only suppose, for I say nothing. I know how to hold my peace. Hark! I hear the wheels of a carriage. Go to your room, child, for I must speak to him alone. Go, go!
But, dam, I'm only queen for one short day. My crown may fade, my sceptre wither up before I use them, so I pray thee haste to free me. You'll remember, will you, dam?
Exit into chamber right. Enter Duke de Richelieu, right front, comes down left.
Oh dear, if she only knew that the king himself, our real king. Oh, your highness.
Brings chair down center.
The walls of my poor habitation are so honored by your presence that they...
Where is Blanche?
In her chamber, your highness, waiting your gracious pleasure. They were just going to dance upon the green when I sent for her. Shall I summon her?
I first must speak to you. Mark well my words. Blanche must be saved. The king must never more behold her. To remove her secretly would be impossible. Yet at the risk of life, be it hers or mine, or both, she shall not breathe the court's contaminating air.
But the honor, your grace, the honor.
Be silent, woman. At your peril make ready to do my bidding.
Oh, how terrible these grand people are! My lord, on my knees I swear to obey you.
That's well. Since flight then is impossible, death only can protect her from the king.
Death? Commit murder? Monsieur Antoine! Murder poor little Blanche! Oh, how terrible! But I say nothing. What a duke commands is of course right. But death! Oh, my poor Blanche!
A seeming death may serve, so that the king shall think it real. There are drugs which produce a sleep which seems the very twin of death, yet do not harm the sleeper. Take this vial. Its contents have played servants to my wish before today. Blanche too must prove their power. The liquid, look, is colorless, 'tis tasteless, and not immediate in its influence. Your part is to administer the draught.
Oh, no, Monsieur Antoine, I dare not touch it. I shall never have the courage.
You have already sworn. You shall abide your oath. Take it, I say, act cautiously, and in your act be speedy.
This is to deal with great persons. What shall I do? What shall I do?
Do as I command you. Be quick and silent.
Silent indeed, your grace, as if I ever said anything.
Blanche, music, opening the door.
May I come in? Dear dam, the stirring sound of the glad music through my casement steals. My feet dance to it of their own accord, and threaten shortly to dance after it. I give thee warning, dam.
Come hither, Blanche.
Blanche crosses to center.
Monsieur Antoine, but it is you indeed? Your face and voice I know, or this rich garb had well disguised you. I could half believe it was no jest when Dame Babette declared that Monsieur Antoine was a lord.
Ah, your highness, excuse her. She will talk. She won't learn to say nothing as I do. Blanche, control that little tongue of yours, lest it give offence to his grace, the Duke of Richelieu.
Richelieu? Oh, no! Richelieu, that bold, bad man, Monsieur Antoine, whom I have known so long, have loved so well, the Duke de Richelieu? No, that cannot be.
Sinks into chair.
Who taught the child this folly?
Oh, indeed, your grace, I didn't. I never said a word about it, I'm sure.
Blanche, ha! She faints. Bring water and take this. Fortune, I thank thee. Take it.
Hands her the vial, unperceived by Blanche.
I dare not, I dare not.
Richelieu, imperatively.
Take it, fool.
Oh, dear, I must.
Takes the vial, goes to table, pours out water and mixes the liquid with it.
Child, you are ill.
No, I am not ill. I was confused, stunned at the thought. Don't heed me. I am well.
Babette hands her the glass, turning away her head.
I do not need it, dame.
Richelieu, taking the glass.
Drink, drink. Your lips are quivering. You are fainting. Drink. You must drink.
Blanche looks with surprise in his face, and calmly takes the glass.
If you desire it, certainly.
Drinks. Richelieu aside as she is drinking, laughing.
Richelieu, when did thy star abandon thee?
I do not understand.
Ay, but you shall. Go, dance, they wait you on the green.
Crosses to Babette, who stands motionless.
Why stand you there as you were petrified? Come, rouse yourself. Bid her go dance. Fool, rouse yourself. Sweet Blanche, go dance. Light foot and joyous heart.
Aside.
The wise man cogs the dice and laughs at fate.
Right down front, exit hastily off.
Why, dame, why do you stand so motionless? Why gaze upon me thus with that fixed look of wondering terror? Dame, dear Dame Babette, will you not speak? Pray you, do speak to me.
Babette, recovering, throws herself weeping on Blanche's neck.
My poor Blanche.
Poor Blanche? Nay, dame, I needs must laugh at that.
You seem so happy.
Then do I seem the thing I am? Seem happy? How could I seem otherwise? 'Tis happiness to me to live, to be. My very instincts, nay, the very use of every separate sense by which we hold communion visible with external being, is happiness. To gaze upon the sky, arched in blue glory o'er my upturned head, the forms of beauty called by loving spring out of the affluent bosom of the earth, the sun, beneath whose warm, resplendent light all nature teems, those simplest daily things which custom cannot strip of loveliness. To look on these is to be happy, is to feel my bosom swell with gratitude to him who made them, to make us more blessed.
Oh, Blanche, Blanche!
Music heard at a distance.
Hark, 'tis the villagers. They come for me, and Armand, too, expects his queen. Good dame, my subjects must not wait. Adieu, adieu.
Going.
Blanche, Blanche, my child, my kind, light-hearted child, embrace me. Do not go until you said that you forgive me.
Blanche, embracing her.
Forgive you, dame? What crime have I to pardon, except indeed too doting love for me? What ails you? You are weeping. What's the matter?
No, I'm not weeping. Oh, my darling Blanche!
Bursts into tears.
Can I have wounded you, dear dame?
Wound me? Did you ever wound a fly? I've seen you brush away with careful hand the very insect that had stung you.
Music without.
They are coming for you. Go to the green. Go.
First with a kiss let me seal up the fountains of those dear eyes, where tear and smile contend, like April sun and rain, they know not why. Now for my crown and sceptre. Dame, adieu.
As Blanche is running off, Armand appears at the door. Exeunt right.
Blessed Mother, guard her. That dreadful drug. If harm comes to her, I shall never know a happy hour. Oh, this is to deal with grand people. Yet for all that he is a duke, and to be sure what a duke says must be right. How could a duke do anything wrong?
Exits into chamber right. Scene 2. Village Green. A maypole in the center dressed with long garlands hanging to the ground. Jaqueline, Etienne, Jacot, and villagers busied about it. Music playing. Several villagers as musicians with pipes and tabors.
Give another look towards old Babette's cottage, Etienne, and tell us if you see our queen.
I see 2 figures yonder through the trees. They turn this way. Yes, 'tis Blanche, and Armand is with her.
Then hurrah for the dance! Hurrah for the king and the queen! Finish with your garlands, and let us dance.
Enter Armand and Blanche. Right.
Aye, for a dance. Make ready, lads and lasses, and be your hearts as light as your feet, in honor of the May.
Blanche puts her hand to her head and appears to be ill.
Blanche, you are ill. Your eyes are heavy, and your cheek how pale.
Oh, no, no, Armand. I am well, quite well, and yet I think my very happiness oppresses me. A faintness steals upon my yielding sense, as if it were a languor of a content so perfect it could wish for nothing on this earth it hath not now, but on the far-off future shuts its eyes.
Our future, Blanche? It must indeed be bright to vie and promise with the present joy. We live in that which is, and so defy what may be. Let the unknown future bring us years, long years of unimagined woe. It cannot steal the lustre from these hours, whose very memory would irradiate the darkest time and fate can hold in store.
How should the placid current of our lives bear aught but flowers upon its laughing tide? And yet I sometimes think to see it ruffled. Thou and thy state, Armand, are not akin, and thy ambition wakes my fear. Yet why? Why should he feel ambition to be great, whose nobler struggle in a nobler strife has made him good?
My nature is not cast, sweet Blanche, in mould so true and pure as thine. Ambition winds itself about the root of every vigorous mind. Ambition gives the startling impulse to its higher action. Ambition spurs it on, sustains, inspires, and rear the better beacon which shall guide ambition's course aright. It is no more a vice.
Ah, when I listen to thee, Armand, I tremble lest the artisan's poor garb should hide the warrior's danger-loving heart.
Nay, Blanche, to love my country with my soul is nor to love the warrior's perils, nor his triumphs. All men, be they high or humble, owe to the land that gives them birth a tribute. And with his talents man may pay the debt, or with his industry, or with his blood.
Oh, never with the last. I could not live and see thee pay it. How is this? We both are grave, though this bright morn would bid us think of gladness only. Come, my king, be sure that I shall chide thee if I trace a shadow upon thy brow.
And shall I not chide thee for that white lip and cheek on which the rose so lately bloomed? Come, let us dance, my queen, to quicken in thy veins the timid blood, and stain these lilies with a healthier red. Jacot, Etienne, are you not ready yet?
Most excellent and worthy sovereigns, we but wait your pleasure.
Now, Blanche, for thy light foot. Come, lads, a dance.
Maypole dance with garlands. Towards the close, Blanche appears to grow fatigued, and falls suddenly in Armand's arms, as if fainting.
Armand, I cannot. I am weary. Stay.
Thou weary, Blanche, whose airy foot were matched for the blithe humming-bird's untiring wing? Great heaven, how pale thou art, thou tremblest too.
'Tis only weariness, so let me rest.
Falls center.
My head is strangely heavy, and before my eyes a floating vapor spreads itself. Armand, I scarce can see thee. Art thou there?
Blanche, Blanche, my own, my only love, oh heaven, she grows more ghastly white. Etienne, quick, fly for help, and Jaqueline, bring Babette.
Exeunt Jaqueline and Etienne. Right.
How cold thou art. Speak to me, Blanche, thou hearest me. Tell me thou hearest me.
Yes, Armand, yes. I hear thee, my beloved, yet I feel that we are parting. Death.
We cannot part. This is not death. No, no, we will not part.
Nay, Armand, war not thou with heaven's high will. Death cannot break the bond that knits our souls. Shall I not be thy bride there where I go to wait thee? For a while we needs must part. Death's icy finger chills and clogs my blood. Like frost it falls upon my heavy eyes, and yet I seem to see. A luminous mist envelops all things around me. Through its veil, a threshold paved with light appears. Beyond, a land of flowers. And now, bright forms in robes of radiant white are flitting round me. Ah, they bear me from thee. Armand, oh, Armand, I cannot see thee, though I feel thine arms girdle my frozen limbs.
Thou wilt not leave me. Distract me not, but once more speak. Let me once more drink in the music of thy voice. Speak to me. Give me one last proof of love.
Armand, I do this.
Raises herself with an effort, feebly kisses him, and sinks back, apparently dead.
'Twas her first kiss. Thou pitying heaven, let it not be her last. She is not dead. Dost thou not hear me, Blanche? No, no, she is not dead. If it were to lose the sun that warms with life, to lose the light that tells the presence of that sun, it were to lose the air we breathe, to lose thee, Blanche. I stifle at the thought. My life's sole light is endless darkness now. Oh, Blanche, my heaven and earth, all peace, all joys, all dreams, all blessings, and all hopes are gone with thee.
Flings himself upon the ground beside Blanche. Peasants group around them. Tableau. Slow curtain. End of Act 2. Act 3 of Armand, or The Peer and the Peasant, by Anna Cora Mowatt. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3, Scene 1, an antechamber at the Palace of Versailles. Enter Lesage, left, and Victor, right.
Monsieur Lesage, our dear Monsieur Lesage, we are overwhelmed by the sight of His Majesty's affliction. One moment he is like an angry child disappointed of its plaything, the next a very woman deluged in tears. But we can sympathize with him. We know the pangs which a passion for the elusive sex too surely inflicts. We have suffered ourselves.
Possibly.
His Majesty's new despondency will once more shed a gloom over the whole court.
Inevitably.
Enter Duke d'Antin, right.
Lesage.
Instantaneously, Your Highness.
My words are for your ear alone.
We shall withdraw, my lord.
Retires upright.
The young peasant is dead.
Definitively.
A death so sudden, so improbable, so unaccountable, excites mistrust. If the report be false, I have my doubts, vague and unconfirmed, still I doubt her death. The king must be persuaded to visit old Babette's cottage and himself behold the course, if course there be. This boyish page can at all times gain the ear of Louis. Often when the voices of our most prominent courtiers were unheeded, his suggestions have received attention. You comprehend me?
Distinctly.
His Majesty must cross this antechamber when he leaves his apartment. You will remain here and see that the opportunity is not lost.
Decidedly.
I shall be in the gardens an hour hence.
Crosses left.
You will join me there.
Exits left.
Punctually.
Victor, coming forward, left.
We consider His Grace the Duke d'Antin the most sombre person of our acquaintance.
Incontestably and indubitably.
Henceforth His Majesty may prove as sombre. Alas, unhappy king!
Appropriately. Has His Majesty taken a last farewell of the poor little peasant?
We believe not.
Undeniably, His Majesty listens to your voice when he is deafly disposed to all others.
You flatter us.
Had I been you, I should urgently have persuaded him to behold her once more.
It never occurred to us, and you think we should do so?
Seriously, but the Duke de Richelieu would inevitably object.
Monsieur Lesage learned that we can overrule the Duke.
Profoundly credulous as are my inclinations, I must consider that assertion incredibly dubious.
Victor roused.
We will give you proof, Monsieur Lesage, incontestably, incontrovertibly, indisputably, indubitably multiplied proof. The king shall visit the dame's cottage this very day, and Richelieu shall be kept in ignorance of his movements.
Unavoidably I shall believe, when unexpectedly I see. But look how opportunely his Majesty approaches. I leave you experimentally to disprove or confirm your asseverations.
Crosses left.
Do you mean to doubt, Monsieur Lesage, that we shall do the latter?
Indubitably, and I trust inoffensively.
Exit left.
We deem that a malicious aspersion upon our character.
Enter King right, and is pensively crossing the stage.
Your Majesty.
Victor, is it you? I scarcely know a face, save yours, boy, I could to-day endure about me.
We are Your Majesty compliments me. Alas, sire, your grief has fallen heavily upon my heart.
One by one have all life's joys been snatched away from me, and now to lose her too, never to see her more.
Might not your Majesty find your sorrow assuaged by the sight of her still unchanged loveliness? Will your Majesty deign to listen to the humblest of your subjects? If you could be persuaded to visit the dame's cottage, I have a presentiment that you will find a sad consolation in the effort.
What matters it whither I go? The very wind that blows upon me can urge me on or draw me back. I have lost all impulses of mine own.
Your Majesty then will grant my petition?
I care not to refuse it.
And your Majesty will permit us, that is, me, to be your sole attendant? Your sorrow would be desecrated by the presence of those that did not share it.
Even so. The very thought of beholding her once again, beholding her even in the frosty arms of death, reanimates me. Yes, we will go, and instantly.
Exit right. Victor aside.
Monsieur Lesage, we shall convict you of being philosophically and adverbially incorrect. We attend your Majesty.
Exit right. Scene 2. A chamber in Dame Babette's cottage. Set doors right and left. In the center a couch upon which Blanche is extended, apparently dead. White flowers upon her brow and in her hands. A white wreath hung at the foot and at the head of the bed. At the head a table covered with white, holding 12 candles in the form of a cross, 11 lighted and 1 extinguished. Around the couch a group of village maidens. Jaqueline kneeling at the foot, Armand standing at the head.
Jaqueline, my friends, grant what I ask. Leave me a while alone with her. You loved her well, but I...
bursts into tears.
Our Blanche never denied a request of yours, Armand, nor will we who loved her so dearly do so.
Exit slowly and sorrowfully, followed by all the maidens. Armand, after gazing a while at Blanche.
Oh, Blanche, my own, though lost, still my own. A little while I yet may gaze on thee, and in the treasury of my soul may store the memory of each stiffening lineament. Where beauty lingers still, it cannot be, shall those soft eyes no more look into mine. nor veil themselves with too bold a joy. I gazed within their azure depths. Shall love, with its aurora, tint thy cheek no more, the low glad music of thy voice no more, sunder those gentle lips with words that fell like blessing on the ears that took them in? My Blanche, my other and my better self, how weary seems the path I thought to climb, thy hand in mine, thy smile to light me on, thy sunny presence to make glad each step. Alone life's burden must be borne, alone. The struggling heart crushed beneath its weight. A holy smile yet hovers on thy face. And though the angels, when they summoned thee, one golden glimpse of paradise revealed, and left that happy print upon thy lip, no, no, thou art not lost. We are not parted, for heavenward as my tearful eyes I turn, a radiant vision meets them there, and bids me guard my soul and studies by a deed that could divide us in that land of joy. My heart hath but one wish, my life one hope, all time one joy, that of rejoining thee.
Sinks at the head of the couch, and buries his head in his hands. Enter Victor, ushering in the king, left. Exit Victor, left.
A secret awe has paralyzed my limbs. I scarcely dare.
Approaching the couch, perceives Armand.
Ah, what is this? A youth, overwhelmed with grief, kneeling beside her corpse? They said she had no kin. Young man, rise up. What sorrow bows thee thus?
It lies before you.
This maiden, surely, was no kin of thine?
No kin, yet more, far more than kin could be. Alike we never knew those tender ties of kinship, which linked man to man, yet all of father's, mother's, sister's, brother's place, each in the other's soul, had trebly filled.
You loved her, then?
Loved her? The earliest page in memory's record held but that young love. From boyhood up to youth, from youth to manhood, ever tenderer thought, sublimer aspiration and purer hope was woven with that love. Our very natures blended as we grew, my spirit gentleness from her imbibed, and hers its strength and vigour caught from mine. Our childish tears upon each other's breast were never shed. Our childish laughter rang the changes of its mingling mirth together, and in each other's joy all childhood's blessings were mirrored, magnified, and multiplied.
Tell me thy name.
Armand, I have no other.
Thy parentage?
I know it not, a foundling by strangers reared. I am the people's child. From them I know not that I spring, yet would believe so, for I ask no name save that myself shall win. I bless the generous fate that gave no noble blood to swell my veins. For had I from the hands of accident nobility received, I could not prove my juster title to that high noblesse. No revolutions level and destroy the true noblesse of genius and of worth.
Wouldst thou not serve thy country?
With my sword, or with my life. She gave it. Should she need it, 'tis hers.
Well answered. Dost thou love thy king?
At least I love all virtues of all men. Upon the loftier height the man is placed, his virtues more resplendent shine, his vices more hideous seem the virtues of my king. Above the virtues of more common men I prize, for they have wider sphere of good.
Thy speech is something less than frank.
I meant it frankly. I have never yet had cause to blush for my free thoughts. Why should I hide them?
Thy boldness pleases me. Armand, today thy king saddles for Fontenoy. Join thou his battle line, and in the warrior ranks, where sure distinction must on valour wait, upon the beaten foeman's banner write the name thy worth shall win.
My heart leaps up, even at the thought. My choice had asked no more. To die in battle for my country? What is left me on this earth to live for now?
Nay, live, that I may cancel valour's claim with noble meed.
Who then art thou?
Thy king.
Armand, kneeling.
My liege.
Aha! Thy words are free, and yet thy knee can bend, it seems.
When duty bids, my liege, it is as proud to bend as when to all compulsion it disdains to bow.
Pause.
Arise, Armand. The king but seldom sees his subjects' hearts unveiled. I value thine, because I trust it. Hence, without delay, at noon the captain of my guard will know my wishes. Seek him at that hour thou. When next we meet, be it at Fontenoy.
My liege, not with my lips, but with my sword. My gratitude shall thank thee.
Going, returns.
Must I leave thee, Blanche? But no, I will return to take one last farewell. My liege at Fontenoy, my arm shall prove my words at Fontenoy.
Exit left. King approaching the couch, and gazes at Blanche.
How potent is the sight of thee, O death, in quelling ruder passions! Had she lived, I would have crushed this man, her lover, like a worm beneath my feet. Bereft of Blanche, his woe is mine, and sympathy would seem to level me half-way to him, or raise him to have fellowship with me.
Goes to couch.
How passing fair! The hand of death itself hath only robed her in new loveliness.
Enter Richelieu left. After advancing a step in the room, he starts at beholding the king. Richelieu aside.
His Majesty! Great heaven, how came he hither? The hour of her reviving must be near. Nay, at this very moment animation may to her dormant form return. All's lost, unless...
Approaching him.
Your Majesty.
Ah, Richelieu, look.
This vain indulgence of your sorrows, sire, is to yourself injurious.
Richelieu, no, look. Death itself has lost its wonted terrors, touching her beauty but to borrow it. Death, did I say? It doth not seem like death.
Richelieu, much agitated.
Not seem like death? I pray your Majesty, permit me, sire. Let me conduct you hence.
Not yet, not yet.
I do implore you, sire.
How came the sigh to mow this lily down so soon? So suddenly, so timelessly? How know I, but the same unholy means that robbed me of the beauteous Châteauroux again have snatched away the thing I loved? If 'twere so, my rage—
Nay, good my liege, poison had left its blackening trace.
True, true. It could not be. O holy powers, what's this? Her lifeless hand, is it the warmth of mind that lends it thus a heat unnatural? No death-like ice is here. 'Tis scarcely cold.
Richelieu, aside.
Confusion! She revives! My liege, these cheating fantasies, your fevered brain. Pardon, but you must hence.
Surely a tinge of faintest rose is spreading o'er her cheek.
Sire, for the love of heaven!
Saw you not that? Her spotless drapery stirs. Her bosom heaves.
Richelieu, passing between the king and Blanche so as to prevent his seeing her.
There is no warmth, no tint of red, no breath. It was the air that dallied with her robe. She's dead. Your reason, sire. Pardon this force which love emboldens me to use. I feared to see your reason by these fantasies unsettled.
Aye, it is, or will be soon. I cannot think her dead. I saw her move. Look, look! She breathes.
Nay, sire, your reason wanders.
Hurries him to the door.
I cannot leave her thus, but one last look.
Turning back.
My liege, not for the universe, not one.
Exit, forcing out the king left. Blanche gradually reviving.
They part. They leave me. Further, further still they softly float. Dimmer and dimmer grow the bright celestial forms. Sing on, sing on. Close not my ears to those seraphic strains. They cease. The angel visions fade. All's hushed.
Gazing around her surprised.
'Tis our own cottage. All the rest has vanished. The tuneful voices and the flitting shapes, where are they? Flowers upon my brow, spring flowers within my hand? Ah, I remember now. 'Twas May Day. I was chosen queen. We danced. And then Armand. In Armand's arms I swooned. Where is he?
Rising.
I am weary, and how feeble. Could I but see Armand, where lingers he?
Enter Richelieu left.
Monsieur Antoine, Monsieur... But no, what was it they told me? All my thoughts are so confused. These flowers recall 'tis May Day, is it not?
It was so yesterday. May Day is past.
'Tis strange. How could the hours so swiftly fly? Did they not tell me you were now a duke?
The Duke of Richelieu, and 'tis even so.
Ah, were it any other duke...
Enough. Your lips should be the last to breathe my name in other tone than that of reverent love. With calmness hear me. 24 hours, nay more, you've lain upon that couch in sleep, so silent and profound that all but I and Dame Babette believe you dead.
Blanche, turning and gazing in astonishment at the couch, etc.
Dead! Dead!
Aye, dead, and dead to all but us you must remain, for reasons that demand and justify the harmless cheat.
No cheat is harmless, and...
Of that not thou, but I am judge. All is prepared for flight. This hour you will be borne to a far distant home.
My lord, I own I have been used to bow with reverence to your words. I knew you then but as a humble citizen, the friend and guardian of a child, who had, alas, no guardian else but heaven. I loved you, I obeyed you. For my lord, you never asked what in obeying, I obeyed not heaven. I know you now as Richelieu, and your first request should make me shrink from you. My lord, you bid me stoop to falsehood. I refuse.
No more. Thy words as little move my will as winds the rocks. Prepare thou to obey.
Not that command which in my conscience finds no quick response. I know your power, my lord. I also know the strength of a resolve which mine own heart approves. Nay, spare your threats. They fright me not. I never learnt to fear.
Learn, then, my right to claim and to enforce compliance to my wish. It is the right of a determined father or a child.
A father?
This very day completes the weary round of 20 years, since from her friends and kin thy mother fled. In secret we were wed. 2 years she lived unknown, and died the hour thy infant head was pillowed on her breast. My child, the sins of Richelieu are not few, and every eye is quick to magnify, and every voice is loud to trumpet them. Yet one ray of virtue, like a beam of sunshine stealing in a lazar house, amongst them dwells. It is his love for thee.
Blanche, throwing herself in his arms.
My father!
Ah, though Richelieu claims that title, Richelieu from whom so late you trembling shrank, my child, thou wilt not banish from thy lips that tender name.
No, father, it is not for me, even were I not thy child, to judge thee. But Armand, dear Armand, knows he not this?
Armand is henceforth naught to Richelieu's daughter.
My father, oh, my father, leave me still my poverty, leave me my humble state. Take back a father's name, a father's love, for lack of which the first warm tears that scorched my infant eyes were shed. But rob me not of Armand. Hark, it is his step, he comes.
As she is springing to meet him, Richelieu seizes her.
Hush, not a word. This folly must end here.
Armand without.
Babette, 'tis I.
Armand! Armand!
Obey my will. This way with me, no cry.
Hurrying her to her chamber right.
Resistance would be useless. Girl, bethink thee, it is thy father that commands.
At the last words he releases her arm. Blanche bows her head and passes before him. Exeunt right. Enter Armand left.
One more farewell, the last, and all is over. Gone? Why have they borne her hence? It was the sole sad pleasure which I craved, but once again to look upon her. It is better thus. I would not be unmanned anew.
Blanche in a faint voice within.
Armand!
It is her voice. Oh, heaven, the voice of Blanche! Angelic spirit, didst thou breathe my name? Or is it thou, vain torturer? Fancy thou. Her voice, henceforth, each wind that sweeps the earth will waft it to my ear. Rock, wind, and glen repeat the sound, and all melodious tones, those well-known accents intimate. Her form will paint itself upon the empty air, the fleecy clouds will take no other shape, and all things beauteous in that mould divine seem cast. My thoughts will madden me, and yet I cannot tear myself away. Each dear, familiar object, by her touch so hallowed, the casement where she watched till I should come, yon couch where last she lay in dreamless slumber, and these,
gathering up the flowers which Blanche has dropped,
these flowers that in unconscious sweetness bloomed in her death-cold hand, and that shall now wither upon my breast as she has withered, but dwell there as she dwells in spite of death. All with blended voices strangely real, would seem to bid me stay, would chain me here, as though with cords invisible they bound me still to hope and her. Away, away, my nature grows too soft. Farewell for aye, my early dreams, farewell, my ideal world, peopled by joy and hope. Farewell for ever.
Exit left. As he rushes out, the door of Blanche's chamber opens, and she breaks from Richelieu, who is endeavoring to withhold her.
Armand, come back! 'Tis Blanche! She lives!
My child! Hold, I command thee!
Call me not thy child. Oh, what to me are nature's chance-knit ties, to those that with rude hand thou sunderest now? It is the spirit's pure, stronger bonds, through life, through death, to all eternity, unchanging, holy, indestructible, that join my soul to Armand. Part us not, my father, oh my father, part us not.
Falls at the feet of Richelieu. Quick curtain. End of Act 3. Act 4 of Armand, or The Peer and the Peasant, by Anna Cora Mowatt. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 4, Scene 1. Room in a hotel in Paris. Babette and Jaqueline.
Well, here we are in Paris again, out of that old gloomy convent at last.
Only to think of Mademoiselle Blanche managing to get us all free. Though she did take 5 years about it. Now, how did she contrive to do that?
By talking, child. It is all done by talking. Oh, she has a tongue that could wheedle an angel out of its wings, though, for my part, I think it is best to be silent.
Why would she come to Paris? I'm sure I wouldn't have.
That's her affair. You know she will have her own way, and does with us all just what she pleases. She heard that the king was holding his court in Paris, and thought that her father, the Duke de Richelieu, oh dear, to think that the father of our little Blanche should be a duke! What an honour, though he did shut her up in a convent, and made all the villagers believe she was dead. Well, she thought the Duke, her father, must be in Paris too, so she chose to come here. And do you know that Blanche has written twice to the Duke and told him where we are?
Perhaps the letters won't reach him. I hope they won't.
Won't they, though? One of them will reach him sure enough. For whom do you think I gave it to this very morning? But no matter, I shan't say anything about it.
Well, don't, Mother, for it's all one if the letter is sure to reach him.
Aside.
That's the very way to make her tell all about it.
Reach him? Why, Monsieur Lesage said he'd put it in the Duke's own hands. I came upon our old friend Lesage all of the sudden, just in front of this very house, and how glad the good man was to see me. I told him all of our adventures.
What? You told him everything?
That is, I told him nothing. He asked me 100 questions, but I never talk, so I said nothing.
Hark, there's a knock.
Oh dear, it is the Duke himself. What shall I do? My neck grows so stiff again, just as it always does when I think of him.
Nonsense, Mother. Don't be afraid of him. I wouldn't. And I'm sure he can't alarm Mademoiselle Blanche very easily.
That's true. Send her here, for I shall never have courage to face him.
But I would, and so would Mademoiselle Blanche. You'll see how quietly she'll look at him. I'll warrant he'll be glad enough to look away. Just wait till she comes.
Exit Jaqueline, right. Enter Duke of Richelieu, left. Babette curtsies very low and looks much frightened.
So, it is indeed you, and you are here in Paris in spite of all my precautions.
Well, I believe it is I, your eminence, and I believe I am here, but it was all Mademoiselle Blanche. You see, your highness, she can do what she pleases with everybody. I hope you won't blame me for indeed.
Enough of this. How does Blanche?
Oh, very badly indeed. She pines for Armand day and night. But I forget. Your highness does not know who Armand is.
Know him? I would to heaven I knew him not. The peasant colonel, Villers' aide-de-camp. The king's new favorite, fortune's chosen minion. No battle, but distinction and success, like unseen genii, wait upon his steps. Upon the field he saved his monarch's life, and when the king, too weakly generous, would have ennobled him, the nameless peasant refused in scorn all title save the one his sword had won him. Let him rise a while. The higher pinnacle, the greater fall.
Oh dear, what will Mademoiselle Blanche say to all this?
Blanche say, dare thou to breathe a single word of that my thoughtless folly has revealed, and in a dungeon's, not a convent's, walls, shall your next tale be told.
Crosses right.
She's here. Retire.
Enter Jaqueline, who exits with Babette, left. Enter Blanche, right.
My lord Duke.
Pauses and looks at him.
Nay, my father. Can I choose but call thee by that name, though in thy face too little of a father's fondness greets me?
Yield thou the meet obedience of a child, and all a father's fondness will requite it.
Command thou what a child's pure heart must leap to execute, and I will yield a child's obedience and the meekness of a child.
What I have done was for thy surest good. Aye, for thy soul's best good.
My soul's best good? Was it for my soul's best good my tongue should mock the consecrated altar with a lie? Was it for my soul's best good my lips should breath avow my heart refused? The holy oath which gave the thought, the hope, the love to heaven, which were no longer mine to give.
Daughter, thy will opposed to mine is powerless.
My father, tempt me not to evil. Think before you act. Young blood is warm, young heads are rash. Young hearts convulse like mine are stubborn. When love, the soul's first love and last, the love no absent changes, and which time and sorrow chastise to strengthen, is too fiercely curbed. Its passion breaks all other ties, defies all chances and all perils, leaps all barriers that hold or part it from its idol, or dragged by a chain too mighty to the earth. The iron eats its slow and silent way into the soul, and then we die, my father.
I know thy sex too well, girl, at its tears or wrath to change my purpose. Woman's grief is wind and rain one summer hour will end.
And canst thou thus the name of woman scorn, her holy mission lightly look upon, nor think that thy first sighs were soothed by her? Thy first tears kissed away by woman's lips, thy first prayer taught thee at a woman's knee. Thy childhood's blessings showered from woman's hand, thy manhood brightened by her watching smile. Thy age must in her tenderness find prop, and life's last murmurs may perchance burst forth where they began, upon a woman's breast.
I nor deny her virtues, nor her power to gild them with her tongue. But one word more of Armand. Woman may be constant. When was man? What wouldst thou think? How wouldst thou act if Armand's troth were plighted to another?
Another? Armand love and Armand wed? Another? No, the present could not thus belie the past. Yet it is true he thought, still thinks me dead. But death could only part, not disunite us. Armand love another? Oh, wretch, to wrong his memory with the thought! Armand has not forgotten me, 'tis false. Tell me 'tis false, and for the life you give me back, I'll bless thee more than for the life I had at first from thee.
In calmer tone, one question I would have thee answer. Listen, if I could give thee proof unquestionable, wouldst thou the cloister seek of thy free will?
I would.
Swear that thou wilt.
There needs no oath. I know not falsehood, father.
I believe thee. Tonight I will return. Remember thou thy words. Tonight.
Exit left.
Armand, was it for this, for 5 long years I hoped? For this I bore with patient trust the ills fate heaped upon me. For this I would not wrong thee by a doubt. All for this hour of agony.
Sinks weeping upon a couch, and after a pause, rises calmly.
Let me not murmur at thy high decrees, all wise, all watching, and all guarding heaven. I know no withered leaflet falls to earth, no blade of grass bursts from its sheath of green, no grain of sand is swallowed by the wave, unnoted by that ruling providence that guides the universe, yet stoops to clothe the flower with beauty, and from seeming ills works out our truest, most enduring good. Oh, then while grass and sand and leaf are cared for, how shall a mortal doubt thy guardianship? Then break not heart, the will of heaven be thine.
Enter Jaqueline left.
Oh, Mademoiselle Blanche, there's a handsome young man waiting to speak to you. He has a letter to deliver, and he says he will only give it into your hands. I hope you'll see him. I'm sure I would.
A letter, and for me, yes? Let him enter.
Oh, I'm so glad you will see him. That's just what I would have done. And he's such a charming little creature.
Exit left.
When should he come? I have no friends in Paris.
Enter Jaqueline with Victor left.
Oh, the beautiful little fellow. I hope she'll listen to him. I know I would.
Exit left.
Most lovely recluse, pardon our intrusion, and pardon us that we rejoice in this opportunity of performing our mission with becoming privacy.
I think you have a letter for me, sir?
We have a letter to deliver and a reply to learn.
Will it please you, sir, to let me see the letter?
We intend to do so forthwith, but haste is most uncourtier-like, and you perceive that we are of the court.
I should like much to see the letter, sir.
It never yet has been our study to gainsay the wishes of the elusive sex, of which our judgment now pronounces you the fairest, and your impatience thus we gratify.
Very pompously presents letter. Blanche reading aside.
One who would serve you, one who learnt by chance your history, writes these lines. Perils unseen are threatening you. The king alone can save you. Consent to meet the page who brings you this, at sunset at the Tuileries' eastern gate. It is the custom of His Majesty to walk within his garden at that hour. The page will bring you to his presence. All the rest lies with yourself, a friend. The king, yes, he alone can save me from the cloister, can give me back to Armand, whom I still think true. Young sir, I pray you thank the writer of these lines. I'll do his bidding.
We congratulate you on this wise decision, and with regret must now take our hasty leave.
Exit bowing very low, left.
Ah, thanks to thee, kind heaven, for once again my path is clear. The king shall guard me.
Exit left. Scene 2. Garden of the Tuileries at sunset. Enter King, followed by Victor, left.
Well, boy, what wouldst thou from our bounty now?
My liege, the boon I crave.
Trumpet without.
What trumpet's that?
News from the seat of war, methinks. The bearer!
Armand himself.
Enter Armand hastily left, kneels to the king, and presents dispatches.
Pardon, my gracious liege, that I appear thus hastily before thee. Good tidings should have wings to race the wind. Another victory!
Which could not wait for form, thou thinkest? Armand, our favour gives thee a license few would dare to use.
To Victor.
Retire.
Exit Victor left. Reading dispatches.
Brave news, most glorious news. My gallant soldier, the victory was thine. The marshal says so. It earns thee once again the rank and title thou hast refused before.
My liege, my sword hath won me all I covet or deserve. I would not that your favour, but my deeds, should of my fortunes be the artisan.
But wherefore, Armand, wilt thou coldly spurn what others as their dearest birthright prize?
And why? The trappings and the adjuncts vain with which the great enshroud themselves to awe? A gaping multitude should I not scorn? Free thought, free will, the birthright true of all manhood, the universal heritage, for them nor a million times their worth I would not barter.
Must thou scorn for this the rank and name which proud posterity might carve upon some lofty monument?
I ask no monument save that which lives within the bosoms of my fellow men, no epitaph save that which love inscribes upon their memories, no chronicle save the annals of my country's show, which, if I serve it, will enroll my name upon the page of honoured history, where alone I could be proud to see it blazoned.
Well, be it so. And yet one wish I have, thou needs must grant. De Rohan's daughter loves thee. She's fair and rich and virtuous. Seek her hand, nor be a courtier, since thou likest it not, yet hold an honoured station in our court.
My liege, I cannot wed. Once hath my heart in all the glow of its first warmth been given. Years have rolled by since Blanche hath passed away. In life's arena I have stood alone and wrestled on, and welcomed each new day that led me closer to the grave, that porch which opens on the palace of my joy.
Beware, our patience is not made of stuff too lasting. Try it not beyond its strength. Marry de Rohan's daughter. 'Tis thy king commands.
My gracious liege, no king can tear the landmarks from the honest path of truth. Marry, call'st thou that marriage which but joins two hands with iron bond, that yokes but not unites two hearts, whose pulses never beat in unison? The legal crime that mocks the very name of marriage, that invades, profanes, destroys its inner holiness? No, 'tis the spirit that alone can wed, when with the spontaneous joy it seeks and finds, and with its kindred spirit blends itself. My liege, there is no other marriage tie.
Enter Victor with Blanche veiled, and Jaqueline following, left.
This daring is beyond endurance, nay, beyond belief. Since you reject our grace, beware our wrath. Retire.
Armand exits left.
This stubborn boy no more shall thwart our wishes.
Victor advances with Blanche right.
Sire, I should not have dared thus to intrude upon your privacy, but for the fair excuse I bring. Your Majesty has but to behold it, and I am secure of pardon.
Excuse, that takes so soft a shape, brings with it the pardon that it asks. Leave us.
Victor pompously presents his arm to Jaqueline, exeunt left.
Now, lady, we pray thee speak. What wouldst thou have of Louis?
Perchance too much, my liege, for you to grant. Too little it may be for my great wants.
Speak freely, then. What wouldst thou ask?
Protection. Protection against one of rank so high. No hand but thine could reach him, could save me.
His name?
Richelieu, thy favourite and my father.
Thy father? Can it be? Has Richelieu then a child? I pray thee, let my hand remove the jealous veil that clouds thy brow.
Blanche raises her veil.
Good heaven! What sorcery is this? I know that face, or it hath visited my dreams, or else it must be. How like, how changed, and yet how like. What spell hath conjured up the dead?
Chance words that strangely suit this stranger chance. For she who with these warm and living lips pleads to thee here is dead to all who loved her best. Within a village churchyard lies in a humble stone that bears her name, and yet she stands before you.
And that name was?
Blanche.
Oh, cheat me not, enraptured eyes. Deceive me not to happy ears. 'Tis Blanche herself. Blanche whom I saw. Blanche whom I mourned as dead.
Aside.
Ah, Richelieu hath wrought this, and bitterly shall Richelieu rue it. Blanche is mine, and mine in spite of faith. Lady, this is no time, no place to hear or to redress thy wrongs. The Duke de Rohan's chateau yonder stands. There will I place thee underneath the care of his most gentle Duchess. Let us haste.
As the king advances impetuously to seize the hand of Blanche, she draws back.
My liege, I follow thee.
King recovers himself, crosses and bows. Excellent right. Enter Jaqueline, Babette, Richelieu, and Armand hastily.
Where is she?
This is the very place, but I don't see her at all.
She lives, she lives, she walks the earth. I may behold her once more, clasp her to my heart. Alive! Oh, let me not grow mad with joy.
Crosses right.
Thy frenzy may have bitterer cause ere long. Where is she? Woman, speak. Where is my child?
Oh, your eminence, I knew nothing about it. It was all Jaqueline.
Jaqueline, good girl, speak thou. Where is my Blanche?
Oh, I'll speak, Monsieur Armand. I'll tell you everything. For Blanche never loved anybody as she loves you, and so I love you too. A beautiful little page brought her here, and she made me come with her. Then she was talking with a splendidly dressed cavalier, and the page said it was the king.
The king? Then indeed all's lost.
All's gained. She lives, and let fate hide her where it will. The ample earth is all too small to part us.
Crosses right and up center.
Ah, my lord Duke, it's all right. His Majesty.
Woman, away.
Oh, my poor neck.
Exit hastily with Jaqueline right. Richelieu, after pausing and looking at Armand.
Armand, I hated thee, had planned thy ruin. But yet I loved my child, and would have sold myself to slavery to have shielded her from Louis. Now all feelings merge in one, that one the last. She lives, may live for thee. Find her, and she is thine. Or if when found thou canst not from the royal libertine defend her, save her as a Roman would.
Fear not. The king is but a man with no more rights than I, when on my rights he dares to trench, and by that righteous heaven which frowns upon this deed of infamy, I swear to snatch her taintless from his arms.
Find her, she's thine.
I will, or lose myself.
Exeunt hastily, Richelieu left, Armand right. End of Act 4. Act 5 of Armand, or The Peer and the Peasant, by Anna Cora Mowatt. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 5, Scene 1. An antechamber in the Palace of the Tuileries. Enter Richelieu and LiSage, right.
How learnt you this? The truth, the truth! Concealment now were in vain. I overheard thee talking with the page. You spoke of Blanche last night, again today. The king refused me audience. Tell me, is Blanche then in his power?
Assuredly.
The Duke d'Antin, did I not hear you say his hand had dealt this blow?
Unfortunately.
Where? Where is Blanche? Answer! Dost thou not see my agony?
Perceptibly.
Dotard, I would not do thee violence. Ha! The Duke himself approaches. Begone.
Voluntarily.
Bows aside.
And speedily.
Exit right. Enter Duke d'Antin, left.
I would have sought thee, Duke. Pardon this haste. A father injured cannot wait on form. Where is my Blanche?
What should I know of Blanche?
Answer, old man, I charge thee. Where's my child?
Oh, rather, Duke de Richelieu, answer thou. Where is my child?
Speak not of her. 'Tis more than 20 years since thou hast called her daughter.
And if it be, think'st thou that 20 years are lethe for a father's memory? Be witness these white locks, whose every hair have been the record of a separate woe. Thou thought'st my child's destroyer was unknown. I knew the subtle Richelieu arts too well to doubt what name the heartless villain bore. I did not brand thee as a libertine. The court, who knew thee, had but smiled. Redress I sought not. To proclaim thy treachery had only been to publish Dantan's shame. But on my knees I swore to dedicate all that remained of life to my revenge. I swore that thou should taste the self-same cup which thou hast poisoned for my lips. Richelieu, it is fulfilled. My hour of triumph's come.
O wretched man, hadst thou but known...
I knew enough, as thou shalt learn too late. The ruin that waits thy child is sure as that of mine. I watched her from her earliest hour. Through me the king beheld her first. Her seeming death I never credited. I tracked thy steps, and through a venal priest I set her free. I brought her to the king, and wove the snare that makes her his. Now writhe as I have writhed. Now tear thine hair as I tore mine. Now cast thyself in maniac fury on the earth. Feel all a father's agony, and pray as I have prayed the living earth might yawn to yield a grave for a dishonoured child.
Madman! What hast thou done? Thy Adelaide ne'er knew the blush of shame. Her weal and mine forbade the court should know Richelieu had wed, and yet she was my wife. Blanche was her child.
Danton, much moved.
Her child? The child of Adelaide? Just heaven! I snatch the vengeance which is thine alone. Its gathered fury bursts upon my head.
Lose not the moments thus in bootless anguish. Where is she now?
Alas, I know not.
Haste and learn thy spies, for spies thou must have used can surely tell.
Oh, Adelaide, my Adelaide, is Blanche indeed thy child?
No more. Thou wilt have time enough for tears when there is none for action.
Crosses right.
Let us but find her. Should we then have cause to weep, be each fierce tear of blood alone.
Excellent right. Scene 2. A sumptuous apartment in the chateau of the Duke de Richelieu. Enter Blanche, splendidly attired, through centre doors, followed by Jaqueline.
Dear Mademoiselle Blanche, to think that I should have found you at last, and through that beautiful little page.
But Armand! Oh, my best Jaqueline, my friend, thou hast seen Armand, and he knows I live. He spoke of me as in our early days.
Aye, that he did, mademoiselle, and I'm sure he loves you as much as ever.
Bless thee, Jaqueline.
Embracing her fervently.
Oh, how 1 hour of joy can brighten a whole age of agony. The weary years that sundered us so long have vanished. Every pang that wrung my soul is blotted out from memory. The past is one of sunbeam only, and the future seems something brighter still. I am too blessed.
So will Monsieur Armand be, but you will scarcely know him. He looks so altered, for he is a great soldier now, and I think you will hardly know you in this grand dress.
They said the king would visit me today, and to receive him decked me in these robes.
Would you not like me to seek Monsieur Armand, Mademoiselle Blanche?
Do, if thou canst, my kind Jaqueline.
Oh, I'll find him if he's within the walls of Paris. Be sure of that. I do so like to bring lovers together.
Exit right.
What thronging thoughts in quick succession chase each other through my brain. I pace these halls as one who walks them in a dream, and fear, by turns, convulses every trembling limb. By turns, thine azure eyes, immortal hope, envisioned beauty smile upon my doubts, while in thy cheating glass, whose magic brings the wished-for object near, my spellbound sight sees Armand only. Thus.
Enter Victor, center.
His Majesty.
Enter King. Exit Victor, center.
My Blanche.
Pauses and looks at her.
Why, this is well. This rich attire benefits thy beauty royally, the emblem of greater change that waits thee.
'Twas the Duchess that willed it, and not I, my liege.
Thy tone, fair Blanche, is grave, yet should no sadness mar its music. Now thy life shall be one pageant of long delight, thine every hour a joy newer and gladder, and thine every wish fulfilment.
Sire, I have but one. Restore me to my childhood's home, to him without whose presence even that home were joyless.
A fate more bright awaits thee. Thou hast not divined it? Knowest thou not thou art beloved?
I do, my liege.
And by thy king?
Oh, heaven!
Fair Blanche, look not so like the startled fawn by friendly echoes frighted. Listen, love, a splendid fate its golden page unrolls before thee. In our court the proudest place is thine. The queen shall yield thee her protection. All men shall bow to her whom Louis loves.
Just heaven! Can such things be? Or doth some demon whisper these horrors in my dreaming ear?
Sweet Blanche, the splendors that I proffer.
Peace, thou king, by passions vile unkinged. Thy words have scorched my brain, and should have seared thy lips in passing them. My liege, was it a kingly deed to snare a being helpless and friendless, young as I, thus to profane her ears, and seek by virtue of thy crown to rob her of the brightest diadem that can encircle woman's brow?
Nay, Blanche, mar not thy beauty with this frigid bearing. Frowns do not suit those gentle eyes, nor fierceness thy timid nature. Weak thou art.
Not weak, my liege, when roused by insult and by wrong. I tell thee, haughty king, presumptuous man, that like the unshorn locks the Nazarene vowed to his God, the purity of woman becomes at once her glory and her might.
Ah, Blanche, and is there no excuse for love?
Thy love is but self-love, that first and worst of passions, poisoned spring of every crime, which hath no attribute of perfect love.
This To thy king?
Art kingly in thy deeds. The star that shines so brightly on thy breast is worthless if it shed no light within. The throne that lifts thee o'er thy fellow men should teach the virtues which alone can raise thee above them.
At thy feet let me implore.
Stand off, approach me not.
Thou fearest me then?
Fear thee? Danger should be where fear is. I see none.
Woman, thou shalt not brave me thus.
Seizes her.
No human power can save thee. Thou art mine. What are thy feeble struggles in my grasp?
Blanche seeking on her knees.
Spare me, my liege, spare me.
It is thy turn to sue, and all in vain. Thou hast forgot that I am king, and thou hast no protector.
Blanche starting up.
I have, one who forsakes me not, one whom thou darest not brave. Unloose thy hold, or dread his fury. Heaven protects me still.
The king releases her, awed by her manner.
Thou art my sovereign, I, a friendless subject. I, woman, and thou, man. My helplessness was of itself a claim to thy protection, a claim thou hast rejected. Answer, king, hast thou done right? Man, was it well to use thy strength against my weakness? Thou art dumb, thou canst not answer. King of France, I scorn thee.
Exit right.
Why should I shrink from one so powerless? And can it be that virtue's presence awes me thus? That virtue which no weapon needs except its own resistless dignity? She speaks, I'm hushed. She spurns me, and I cower. She leaves me, and I dare not follow her.
Enter Armand hastily right.
You here.
My lips, my liege, might echo back the question.
Sir, it is thy monarch's right to tarry where he will.
It is my right to seek what I am robbed of where I may.
Darest thou?
Had thou not dared to wrong me, I had never dared to stand before thee thus.
A monarch state may sometimes sanction what...
A monarch state that sanctions what would shame, a subject doubly shames itself when wrong and crime usurp the garments of that state. They grow more hideous in those glittering robes than when they wear the branded felon's garb.
Armand, I thought thee loyal.
So I was, when loyalty was virtue. O my liege, because my heart neath ruder vesture once hath beat, than ere thine own hath throbbed against, thinkest thou its feeling is less keen, its sense of injury less delicate? Thinkest thou it will not leap as readily to kindness, will not revolt as quickly at oppression? How then shall I be loyal, when my king would do me the worst injury that man can do to man?
What injury, rash youth?
Of my affianced bride, wouldst thou not rob me? Wouldst thou not rob her of... How shall I keep my senses at the thought? Is Blanche not here?
This passes bearing.
Hear me, my gracious liege. I am too bold. Wrong has rough words and anguish maddened me. Bethink thee on the battlefield I saved thy life. Remembering that, O sire, forget thy passion for this maid, my promised bride. Let it be as a cloud which dimmed the sun, but for a moment that its afterlight might shine more glorious. Do a royal act, and do it royally, that men may see thy soul is royal too. She does not love thee. Give her back to me.
I'll hear no more.
Ah!
Not another word.
Pause yet a moment.
Enough.
I am no more supplicant. My private injury grows public wrong. The Saviour or the Avenger stands before thee. Choose thou.
Is this the faithful soldier?
No, it is the injured lover thou hast wronged. The man his monarch's crimes exasperate. Restore my Blanche, and I am what I was. Withhold her, and I know not what I may be. Each sigh of hers shall be a whirlwind swell, and in its fury dash thee on the rocks of public hate. Each prayer she breathes shall turn to thunderbolts placed in thy people's hands. Woe, woe to him on whom a nation's rage with Perseus' weapons such as these shall burst.
Within there! Oh, my gods!
Enter guards center from right, with pages. Guards advance to receive the sword of Armand.
Yield up your sword.
Pardon, my liege, but never shall its edge flash upon battlefield again. You gave it, take back the gift unstained. but worthless.
Breaks the sword, retires center. Enter Richelieu and Danton hastily right.
Sirs, your ceremonial is but scanty with us, that we intrude upon our presence thus, unushered and unbidden.
Pardon, sire. The courtier was forgotten in the father. I seek my child.
Hast thou some new deceit to hide her from the world? Another stone to lay upon an empty grave?
My liege, a father's fears, a father's fondness urged me. Be these my plea.
Danton, crossing center.
Grant me a word, my king. This head has whitened, and this frame grown old in serving France and thee. Blanche is my child, no less than his, the child of Adelaide, sole daughter of my house. Deny me not my first and only prayer. Restore her to us.
The warring elements of good and ill, with fearful strife, are battling in my soul. But policy with virtue sides, and makes the victory hers. Richelieu, a word with thee. Blanche is beneath this roof. Go, bring her hither.
More gladly have I never flown to do my sovereign's will.
Exit left.
Armand d'Etienne, draw near. Harsh thoughts are written on the brow of each, and yet I think ye true. I know ye brave, and would believe ye loyal. Nay, will make some effort so to hold ye.
O my king, hast thou indeed relented?
See who comes.
Enter Richelieu, left, leading Blanche. Her eyes are bent upon the ground. She does not perceive Armand.
Blanche!
Armand, is it thou?
With an exclamation of joy, she rushes into his arms.
My own, my Blanche! Is it no phantom dupes as it hath duped so oft my willing sense? Is it thyself? If joy could kill this hour so richly blessed, that ecstasy seems pain would be our last.
Ah, if it were, we would not murmur. Life hath not another moment such as this.
My child, remember thou art not thine own to give.
My dearest father.
Nay, I know what thou wouldst say. First bow thy knee to one who claims thy reverence and love. Behold, thy mother's sire.
Blanche kneels to Danton. He raises and embraces her.
My child.
Blanche returns to center.
Blanche,
crossing to her.
Shrink no more. I was thy lover. I am now thy king. We claim the right to wed thee as we will. Nay, traitress, no rebellion, for thy sire sanctions our choice. Armand, more chary hold our second gift than thou hast done the first.
Points to the sword.
No more of that. We pardon. Blanche is thine.
Joins their hands and crosses to right.
My cup is brimming over. Speak thou, my Blanche, my long-lost bride. Tell me thy happiness hast reached the blessed zenith of my own.
My happiness.
To the audience.
Its bounds are fixed by these, who've made so light our earnest task to please, by lenient eyes that only beauties seek, and lenient lips that mildest judgment speak, who, if some passing good they chance to find, seem to all else so kindly, gently blind. Our faces are of yours, the mirrors true. Cloud 'neath your frown, grow bright at smiles from you. What fiat then tonight may we expect? Shall we your censure or your smiles reflect?
End of Act 5. End of Armand, or The Peer and the Peasant, by Anna Cora Mowatt.